Are you ready to expand your life and reality? Join us for the next hour with Jamie Bates as she shares life-changing thoughts, techniques, and awarenesses to help you expand your reality.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, consciousness facilitator and expander of realities. My mission with my radio show is to create greater awareness of what is possible and to expand you beyond the limitations of this reality. I am grateful that you're joining me today. And today I would like to talk to you about the concept that the universe does have your back. Yeah. So when we look at this, do you believe that the universe truly does have your back? Do you feel supported by this universe? Or do you feel like you're continuously kind of treading water in ideas and concepts that don't work for you? Today, I would like to explain to you how very powerful you are and how the universe is supporting you, even though you may not actually feel that way. So today, let's change some of those solidified points of view and let's understand that you are a powerful creator. And the universe is responding to your thoughts, supporting you, showing up for you, and giving you space to create your life. Yeah. So today we're going to dive into kind of some bigger concepts around the universe. So let's go ahead and get started and let's uh, put our barriers down, put our barriers down, our barriers down, our barriers down. And let's go ahead and expand out. So if you're new to this, what we're going to do is we're going to expand out your being, not your body, as your being is outside of your body's within your being. So we're going to make your being really big so you can get into more space and more possibilities. So go ahead and expand out as big as the state that you're in and go all the way out and all the way down and all the way up. Nice deep breath. And go ahead and expand out as big as the country that you're in, all the way out and all the way down and all the way up. And as big as the planet that we're on. Bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster. Becoming one with everyone and everything. You don't have to do anything, you just have to allow your being to expand and go ahead and go out as big as the universe. As big as the universe actually is. In the multiverse, multiple universes. And times that by a million, 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 all the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. Awesome. So now that we're kind of in this space of who we be, right? We're in the space of our infinite beingness. This is where, within this space of your infinite beingness, is where all of your thoughts, ideas, belief systems, everything that you have been taught, stored as real and true, is all stored within the energy space and consciousness of who you be. Now, this is the same energy that is literally making up your life. This is the energy that is telling the universe how to create your life. The universe speaks in frequencies. The universe also does not have like a right or wrong. It's all just energies. So the energies that you project out, and these are the thought forms that you have, right? These are based on all of the ideas, the belief systems, the points of view. These all become the energies that make up your world. The issue is that most of our thought forms are not really thoughts. They're more this energy of like an autoresponder energy, right? That creates the way that our life shows up. So something happens and you automatically respond with what you have decided, what you believe uh, is real and true about the situation, whatever that may be. Now, the thing is most of the energies that make up our life are not, again, they're not that that conscious thought. It's mostly like right now I'm getting ready to do this relationship series, right? And I'm really looking at what are people's viewpoints about around relationship? What do people believe, what do they believe about why they can't have relationship, the people that show up for relationship with them, right? What are their viewpoints? What are their points of view around this? Now, I've been talking to lots of different people. And so many people, it's like they have points of view about what they would like to have, what they would like to have show up in their life, right? And then they have the points of view about how relationship does show up. And this looks like, okay, so when I start dating someone, these are all of the things that I discover about the person, right? They're mean. They don't listen to me. They treat me like I'm a child. They don't respect me. They don't uh, care for me the way I want to be cared for. Okay, those are all viewpoints, every single one of them. Now, what's interesting about that is, okay, so when you, I'm trying to explain this in a way where it's like, where it makes sense. So when you believe that that's how relationship shows up, then what happens is you align with other people who are that same space within relationship. Now, where this gets interesting is that people can change and shift into something different. Okay, so if I'm standing in the viewpoint that I believe that relationship is difficult and that when I'm in relationship, I believe that uh, it's difficult, it's hard, it's heavy, right? That maybe the person I'm in relationship with is mean or unkind. Okay. Now what happens is that frequency goes out. Now, and I'm not actively saying to myself, oh, I believe people are mean, right? What happens is from my past experiences, I start actually standing in the energy where that frequency is actually vibrating within my energy, space, and consciousness. So then the universe finds someone who believes those things about themselves. Now we all have negative thoughts about ourselves, right? We all have these places. I don't care who you are, but you have these places and spaces where you believe that maybe you're a bad person or um, you're mean or you're unkind, and that can come from maybe when you were young and you pulled little Susie's hair and the teacher yelled at you and said, "What's wrong with you? You're so mean." And then from there, all of these little tiny instances, maybe I don't know, borrowed somebody's book and you never gave it back, and then they yelled at you and told you that you were mean, and it just progressed, and all of the sudden you start having these viewpoints about yourself that you're a mean person, even though maybe you never even did anything mean. Okay, but you believe you are mean. Then you meet someone on the other side of it who believes people are mean to them. And like a magnet, the two of you are aligned because one of you believes that you are mean, that you are a perpetrator of unkindness, even though it's probably more than likely not true. It's the projection of energy that you have stored as who you are, as being real and true. That projection of energy literally becomes kind of like, I like to look at it like we all have, within our energy, space, and consciousness, and to kind of give it like a like a like a more solidified viewpoint, it's kind of like, I like to look at it like it's a garden. Okay, so if you could look at your energy, space, and consciousness like it's this big huge garden, right? And when you were born, your parents planted all of this amazing, wonderful stuff about you. You know, maybe you're this beautiful child. Um, you have all of these, they have all of these different viewpoints of who you are that they planted in your field. Then, of course, you looked around you at your parents and who your parents were, and if your mom was a worrier and she worried about everything, you looked at your mom and said, oh my gosh, my mom loves worry. I mean, look at all that worry that she's always doing. Worry must be really, really important. It must be a really super important emotion. So I'm going to store worry as well because my mom has worry, and so worry must be something that's very valuable, right? Because as a child, we don't have a right and a wrong and a good and a bad. When we're born here, we just have space, right? So we start storing all of our parents' viewpoints as well, and then as we grow up, we start storing all these different viewpoints about who people think we are, especially as a young child. You know, so if you're surrounded by people who don't think that you're an amazing, wonderful, beautiful creature, which I don't know that a ton of us really grew up with our parents really thinking that. Now they may have thought that at some point, but you know, life happens, and now you're being a spoiled brat, and you know, and now you're making my life difficult, and people are busy, and they don't realize how much weight their words start to hold. And so they start projecting all of these different energies at you, right? And you start actually forming these patches in your garden of who you believe you are and how life shows up. So if your parents have money problems and they believe that money has to be a struggle, you're going to plant this big huge patch of money struggle in your garden, right? So then when it comes to paying for stuff, or when it comes to buying something for yourself, you're going to go to your garden and you're going to look at, you know, what's here, what can I harvest? And what you harvest about money is difficult. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Money is hard to come by. And so all of a sudden, then the universe looks at your garden, and the universe says, oh, look, money's hard for you. So I have to make sure, I have to demonstrate the concept that this person is holding on to. I have to respond with the energy that this person believes to be real and true. Yeah. And everything, all of that is, what I would like to do is invite you to let's just kind of start rototilling that garden out. Let's start clearing those energies out. So everywhere you believe that for yourself, everywhere you believe that even money is a struggle, everything, all of that is. See, that's all energy. Do you feel that? That kind of that like that kind of that pressure that kind of comes up against you. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? What we're going to do is all you have to say is I choose that now, and we're just going to vaporize that out of there. So we're just going to vaporize, 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 vaporize. So essentially, what we're looking at here is the energy, space, and consciousness of who you be has all of the viewpoints of what you have stored as real and true, right? And this looks like, to the universe, this looks like a big, huge garden. Okay, so when I ask you a question and we bring that energy up, essentially what we're doing is we're kind of bringing that patch of energy to the surface. Okay, we're saying, where is everywhere? And let's just look at that for a second. Where is everywhere you have decided money is a struggle? Wow. See all of that, all of that, all of that. So all of that energy that comes up, that's all of the viewpoints, that's all of the solidified energies that you have around money being a struggle. So everything, all of that is. Now this is your universe, right? We expanded you out. This is your garden. These are your viewpoints. So when I say everything, all of that is, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? And you say, yes, I choose that now. You say, can we just choose to remove all of that from all of your universes? Yes, I choose that now. And then we're just going to vaporize it. We're just going to vaporize, 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 vaporize. Yeah, more space, 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 more space. So what we're doing here is we are allowing ourselves to kind of rototill, if you will, rototill those energies out of your garden. Release them from the solidity, from the place where you are functioning in the place that money is a struggle. Okay, so it kind of looks like, for me, it's like, you go through your life, right, and you plant. If we were looking at this even like as a garden theory, right, you're planting corn and squash and maybe some milkweed and some dandelions and some all of these different plants, right, and each one of these plants kind of signifies a different viewpoint, if you will, or a different construct around different viewpoints, different belief systems. You can't plant all of this and then go to your garden and look for strawberries and you never planted strawberries. The thing is the most important thing about realizing that the universe has your back, I think, is first and foremost, you have to start looking at, what do I believe about life? So often I think people hear this concept that the universe has their back and they're like, my life is hard and everything's heavy and, why would the universe do this to me? Okay. When you start looking at it in terms of that, all you're actually doing is re-solidifying everything that's in your garden right now. Okay. What you have to start doing is you have to start looking at, okay, so what is going on right now in my life? You have to start getting really, really clear about, what viewpoints do I have around work, around my daily life? What thoughts am I thinking when I'm driving in my car? What type of things am I telling myself when I go to pay my bills? What things are going through my head when I'm thinking about having a relationship, or maybe you're already in a relationship? What's really interesting to me is I have, and I've talked about this in previous shows. If you've never listened to my show, there's been a lot of shows where I've talked about my past. And it's interesting because when I started really literally looking at where I was functioning at in my life, what type of viewpoints I had about my children, about, I went through a divorce, about my ex-husband, about, I'm remarried now. What kind of viewpoints do I have around my husband that I'm currently married to? What expectations do I have of the people in my life? I started to realize how I was creating relationship with them. If you have children and you believe that your children are brats and that they're spoiled and that they don't listen, that's exactly the energy that you're projecting at your children, and that's exactly how your children are going to show up. Yeah, everything, all of that is. And all of that, and all the shaky stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog, in and around all of that. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. The things that you're hearing yourself say, the things that you're saying to strangers on the street, the things that you're hearing yourself say to coworkers at work, the things that you're hearing yourself say to the people you're in relationship with, whether it's a significant other or it's a parent or it's a child. Those energies are the energies that the universe is responding with, and those are the energies that you are creating your life from. Those are the energies that the universe is showing up for you with. Yeah. Being a parent myself, I think it's so interesting because we like to look at where we're at as a kid, right? And how we felt as a child, and how maybe we felt we weren't respected, or we weren't loved, or we weren't this or that. And then we have children of our own, and we literally perpetrate the same exact patterns. Now we're on the parent end of it, right? And so we don't realize that essentially the way that we are being, the way that we are showing up with our children, the way that we are projecting out at our kids are literally, it's the same energies our parents were in. It's the same viewpoints our parents had. It's the same exact space. Now, it may not look exactly the same, but I guarantee you, if you kind of scale back and you think about the things that maybe your mom said that hurt your feelings. How many times have you said that almost exact same thing to your own children? Maybe look at the way that you felt, that you remember. We really only remember those times and places in our life where we really felt deeply upset about something, especially as a child, right? We don't really remember much of our childhood, but we remember the times that maybe our mom, pulled the balloon out of our hand and screamed at us at the roller skating rink, right? We remember that because that hurt our feelings and it made us feel bad. How many times have you perpetrated that same pattern on your own children? Yeah, everything, all of that is. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. What I want you to look at here is it is twofold. Okay, so when you start believing certain things about yourself, which again these are more than likely stored viewpoints from when you were a child, as you grow up, you start actually fulfilling those roles for everyone around you. You literally start to become the person that you believed you were. Now, how it's interesting is the universe starts to respond to that person that you believe you are. Okay. Now where it's interesting to me is you literally can change the way that you feel about yourself. You can change the way that you feel about your job, about those around you, about everything that's going on for you. You can change the solidity around it. You can change the viewpoints around it. And the universe actually starts to respond differently. Your life starts to respond differently. Your life starts to show up different. Yeah, and everything that doesn't allow that, and everywhere that feels really heavy and that feels really hard, and it feels like it's going to be way, way, way too much work. Yes, everything, all of that is, because that's all energy that's trying to stop you, okay? That's not real and it's not true. Yes, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. I'm going to ask you that again. Whereas everywhere that you've decided that that's too hard, that's going to be way too hard right there. And all of that, let's go all the way down and all the way down and all the way down and all the way down. And I hear this a lot from people. They say, well, I've tried everything and I can't change this. Everywhere you've tried everything and you can't change anything because maybe you've decided that you're pathetic or you're a loser and you're never going to be able to change. Yeah, everything, all of that is. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. No, that's true. No, that's true. No, that's true. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. You believe these terrible, awful things about yourself. What happens is the universe responds in a way where people that are willing to kind of solidify those viewpoints for you are going to show up for you. Okay, so if you believe that you're an awful person, which it's amazing to me how many of us have really stored this idea that we're an awful person. And the thing is we don't want to look at it. We don't want to talk about it, right? We don't want to actually uh, explore those energies because we're scared. We're scared we might actually find out how terrible we really are. And everything, all of that is, and everywhere you've decided you're terrible, because you're not. You're not, you're not, you're not. Everything, all of that is all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. That's not yours, not yours, not yours, not yours. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? and vaporize, 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 vaporize. You know, I often see people with this energy of trying to end something. You know, I had this conversation. I have this conversation quite often, actually. And, you know, I don't really know personally, like, it's going to take a lot of energy to change it. But I see things um, okay, let's take anything, like end Alzheimer's. Okay, people want to end Alzheimer's, and I get it. I've I've had a family member who's died of that as well. Okay, but the thing is, and this is like it's a interesting concept, but it's the thing is like, okay, so if you want to end anything, if you want to end Alzheimer's, you want to end cancer, you want to end you know, any disease or any disorder or any, you know, I see people, you know, they want to stop sex trafficking, right? They want to stop violence, they want to stop rape, we want to stop all of these things. But the thing is you're never going to stop anything as long as there are people who want to choose that for their life. Now, I'm not insinuating for very 1 second that anybody goes, hey, I want to get the crap beat out of me, or, you know, I want someone to act violently towards me, right? I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form, but what I'm saying is there are people in this world who believe that they are not worthy, right? They believe, what I'm looking at right now, like ending violence, for instance, okay? There's energies of attraction to even someone beating you up. Now, I know that this is kind of a weird concept to look at, but see, the thing is in order for violence to exist, in order for even Alzheimer's to exist, in order for cancer to exist, people have to believe certain thoughts. They have to have certain, you know, as a whole, like even if we look at cancer, okay, um, cancer has an energy on it now, and I know I'm not trying to like insinuate anything, because the reality is it's an energy, right? It's an energy, and the energy exists. Okay, cancer is an energy, it's a frequency. That frequency gets manifested in the body. Now, I'm not trying to even insinuate that everyone that has cancer wants cancer or attracts cancer in their life, but it's a frequency that they are in. Okay, now this frequency is very deep and it's very complex, and it's multi-level layers of belief systems and points of views. And you know, we have these belief systems and points of views that we carry over from lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. These are all just not energetic viewpoints from this lifetime. So let's just look at it like this. Like, you know, we've all been desperately sad in this lifetime, right? We've all had this like amazing sadness, whether it was someone hurt our feelings really, really bad, maybe an animal died in our life, right? And we decided, hey, I don't want to live here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this reality. I don't like this world. Okay, when you start cutting off your life force, when you start projecting out into the universe that you don't want to live here anymore, that starts a process of actually planting kind of like a poison energy in the energy space and consciousness of who you be. That poison energy essentially can mutate into all kinds of different diseases and disorders. Now, I know that there's children that have cancer, right? There's adults that have cancer. There's people all over the spectrum that have this energy space and consciousness of negative, you know, this negative energy that essentially kind of cancels out any what's the word I'm looking for? Like any positive mutation. Now, many people who have cancer, it's not that um, they're, you know, especially I know there's a ton of children right now who are going through, you know, very, very rare genetic mutations of different types of cancer. But somewhere in there, the universe is responding to an energy that they have stored. When you can change that energy, you can literally change the way that those mutations are showing up. Now, it's a process, and it can be a very deep process. But the thing is you have to change the way that the vibration is actually vibrating, and you have to change the way that the universe is actually responding. So when I look at an energy like stop Alzheimer's, I'm going to go back to that same energy, right? Okay, well, you can't stop Alzheimer's as long as there's someone that has a belief system that they can't remember. It's like you can't stop it. You have to change we have to change the energy around the sickness. We have to change the energy around people not remembering. We have to change the energy of the opposite, because the universe is responding to what we have believed is true. As long as there's somebody fighting against something, there's always going to be the equal and opposite energy. If you truly want to live a life where you have the ease that you want your life to be, where you have this amazing free-flowing joy and happiness, and you want the universe to respond with joy and happiness, you can't fight against anything. You have to dive in, and you have to look at, okay, this is what's been showing up for me. I don't like this. I don't want this to be my reality. I don't want to live in a life where maybe where people are mean to me. Okay, so what you actually have to do is you have to go in, and you have to look at, where is everywhere I decided people are mean to me. Yeah, everything, all of that is, and all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. And when you remove something like that, when you remove a viewpoint about people being mean to you, you have to kind of replace that with the energy of, like, people are kind to me, people show up for me, people are nice to me, people want to do nice things for me. Just receive that. Receive, 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 receive. And then all of a sudden, the universe starts showing up for you. The universe starts responding in a way where people are nice to you. One of the most common things that I really see with people in this type of work is they put very little weight or very little energy on actually creating something different, right? Because I know we're stressed out, and we want change, and we want change right this very moment, right? We always want everything to happen instantly, and if we don't see change instantly, we start to kind of go to this place where it's like, oh, I'm never going to change. I'm never going to be able to have a different reality. People start doubting. They start going to this place where they don't believe it's even possible to change. And I get it, and I've been there. But the thing is that you have to get that you have been operating in the same paradigms for potentially lifetimes after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. When we're in this huge, amazing, powerful time of awakening, where we're realizing that our thoughts do create our reality, that the universe is responding to our thoughts. You can't think a thought one time or two times or maybe even 5 times and expect that all of a sudden your life is going to transform magically. You have to get real with this here. When you start acknowledging that every single thing that is showing up in your life, every single rude person, every single person that comes into your life and is mean to you, those people are all fulfilling roles that you have believed to be true. And I would have challenged this years and years ago. I challenged the crap out of this. I used to have this viewpoint. This is one of the things. I used to love to go out to dinner. Okay, I love to go out to dinner. But it didn't matter. Everywhere I went, every single restaurant I went to, The server was rude. I don't care where it was, whether it was a male or a female. The server that we had consistently always was rude. And so I had this viewpoint that, you know, service is bad. Everywhere I go, service is bad. Well, that was kind of one of the first things that I really started working on for myself. I started really clearing my polarity to it. So that would mean that, so I'm sitting in a restaurant, right? And I'm getting angry because the service is bad. Okay. And I have people tell me this all the time. Well, this is what really happens to me. Yes, I get it. I know. I've lived it. Right. So what you have to start doing is you have to start in the moment, that the actual thing that is showing up that you don't like and you want to change. Right. So you have to go to that moment. So I'm in the moment, right? And the service is bad. And so I'm like, okay, everywhere I've believed service is bad. I'm just gonna, everything, all of that is, yeah, all of that, 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 all of that. I'm guessing I'm not the only one that believes that service is bad. Everything, all of that is. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Yeah, just let it go, 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 let it go. So then you start kind of like projecting that, like, you know, people like to take care of me, right? I'm getting waited on. Somebody is serving me. What a pleasure it is to have someone serve me, right? How much fun is it to go to a restaurant and have someone wait on you? So you have to change the places where you get angry. You have to change the places where you get mad. Because every single time you choose anger over a situation, every single time you get mad, every single time you have a reaction to a situation that you no longer want to show up. It's essentially like, okay, so I have this big patch of corn in my garden, right? And I go to the corn and I water the corn, and then I'm mad that the corn keeps growing, and I keep going back out to the corn and I keep watering the corn, right? And then I get mad because I have more corn. It's the same thing. Every time you get angry, every time you have a reaction to something, you create that thing as greater. So it's the same as, okay, so if every time I go out to eat, I'm mad because I have bad service, I'm watering the bad service. Okay, so I'm making my patch of bad service bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So when I start actually going, no, you know what, I don't get bad service, I'm going to start projecting that I have good service. And even if the service isn't good, you don't respond to it. You don't respond. You don't buy into it. You don't talk about it. You don't leave the restaurant and talk about it. You don't get angry about it anymore. You acknowledge it. Okay, cool, awesome. Service is bad. All right, awesome. How do I change this? What do I be or do differently to make this service good? And you start actually changing the energy around it. Every time you talk about something, you again ignite it. So then what you start doing is, even if one little good thing happens, like the server brings you a mint at the end. Oh my gosh, she brought me a mint. This server is so amazing, right? And you start celebrating the one little tiny amazing thing that happened. Then the next time you go out, maybe service is still bad, it's not great, but you don't respond to those areas anymore. You don't respond to that energy. And whatever little great thing, okay, they he brought me a fresh pop without me even asking. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. They brought me a fresh pop without even asking. Oh, people love to wait on me. People love to serve me. I get the best service, even if it was just that one little thing. And what ends up happening is you start shrinking that area of energy where you have bought into the idea that you get bad service, and you start planting new energy of, people like to wait on me. I get amazing service. People love to gift me with things like mints and free refills, right? And you start planting that energy. And then every time something good shows up, whether it's, hey, I went to the bathroom and they had lovely smelling soap, or maybe they just had soap. Hey, they went to the bathroom and they had soap. And they had really cool towels to dry my hands. And you start projecting the things that you did, like the things that were good. And you stay in that space, and eventually what ends up happening is the bad service space gets really, really small, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And I'm not even going to tell you that I don't still occasionally get subpar, I'm going to say, service, but I will tell you right now, I haven't had bad service in forever. I also don't go out to eat nearly like I used to, um, but when I go out to eat now, I have engaging conversations with the servers. Me and my daughters went out to eat a couple weeks ago, and my husband, and we went to this little vegan restaurant about an hour from our home. We were out doing some errands and running around, and we had the most delightful server I think I've ever had. And it was fun, and we laughed, and it's like you can change those things. I know 100% that that would have never been a reality for me before, because I probably wouldn't have even chose a restaurant like that. And again, that's where the universe has my back, right? Because what I used to do is I used to choose restaurants where the service was bad, really literally, where people worked at and they hated their job and they hated their lives and they hated being a server. And I can see that now because again, I aligned with the idea that I got bad service. Okay. So when I looked at going to a restaurant, the universe would spark me and say, oh, go here. Because that restaurant was known for having bad service, and I aligned with the idea that I always got bad service. Okay, so when I started changing that viewpoint, my whole world started to change because all of a sudden then it was like I had different options. It's really amazing. People will tell me all the time when we start working together, they're like, I really can't believe how different my life is becoming. I'm like, isn't it interesting that when you change your viewpoints, when you start changing the way that you think about life, when you start changing the way you believe life has to be, the universe starts responding differently because the universe does have your back. Yeah, and everything, all of that is, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Let it all go, let it all go, let it all go, let it all go. You know, and even this idea that like you can't change is like that's just a viewpoint. So everywhere you've decided you can't change, everywhere you've decided that life is never going to be easy for you, that everywhere you've decided, yes, everything, all of that is, let's just clear that first. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Everywhere you've decided that you're never going to be able to change anything. Everything, all of that is, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. One of the things that I really see as real and true right now is that we were born here, and when the world was really vibrating at that third dimensional frequency, that third dimensional, um, third and below, that third dimensional polarity. Okay. And since we've had that shift in 2012, we literally are vibrating higher, right? The planet is becoming 5D. And through that 5D pull, what's actually being integrated is a new energy, a new space, and a new consciousness. And what we're realizing is we can no longer function in these lower levels, these lower frequencies. We're seeing the patterns of generations, our parents and our grandparents. And the thing is it wasn't that they were bad people. It wasn't that they didn't have the tools available. They didn't know that what they were doing, that what they were saying was actually creating the world as it was showing up. They were doing the best that they could with what they had. And now it's our turn. It's every single one of ours turn to actually look at, what are we thinking? What are we saying? What are we telling the universe that we want? Because that's what's going to actually really truly change this world. Everything that doesn't allow that right there, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Changing the way that you vibrate, allowing the universe to show up differently for you, is not heavy, it's not hard. It just takes practice of really truly looking at, who do I believe people are? What do I believe is true for me? It's interesting to me over the years, of even really changing the viewpoints I had around my children, how differently it allowed them to show up. Changing my viewpoints around my husband and how that allowed him to be different. Just think about it like this. Like, if you have anyone that's in your family or around you who thinks negative things about you, does it make it comfortable to be around them? You don't want to be around them, right? You don't even want to spend any time with them. But what's interesting is if they change their point of view about you, it actually creates the relationship showing up completely different. This is such a hard concept for me to explain to people, because until you actually start changing your points of view about those that you love and those that are around you, and even your coworkers and the people that you interact with daily. Like, if I believe that, I'm just looking at something here, that my child is lazy and is never going to create anything with their life. Not that I think many of us think that about our children, but I know that, like, after years and years and years and years of them not doing anything, I know that we can start storing certain energy about who we believe they are. Let's even take the energy of an addict. Okay, because I know an addict is kind of one of those things where we have decided who that person is, especially if it's an addict that was addicted to an opiate or something, and they maybe you have a family member, or maybe even it's a child of yours. And they, when they started choosing addiction, they started acting, differently, right? They started maybe stealing things from you. Maybe you couldn't trust them anymore. Maybe they stole your vehicle. Maybe they stole things from your house. We all know, if we don't know someone who is an addict, we have a friend who has dealt with someone who's an addict, right? And it's really, really hard to think differently about that addict because they have done them things, right? They have done those things to you. So how do you think the addict feels? And I'm going to tell you right now that this is 99% of the time why addicts can't stop using. Because the thing is everywhere they go, everything they do, people re-solidify who they used to be. They don't give them a possibility of showing up differently. Now, an addict is kind of an extreme situation because I think we all know that, right? No one expects an addict, like it's kind of like, oh, I can't trust them, right? I can't trust them. If somebody's continuously projecting at you that you can't trust them, can you be trustworthy with that person? Think about that for a second. Have you ever been around someone and like maybe it's someone that you went to high school with or someone you knew 20 years ago, and every time you're around that person they make you out to be a bad person because maybe you did something stupid, or you did something, I don't know, whatever, like you made a random mistake, or maybe even you didn't, maybe you sprayed them with a hose and they decided you were a bad person. Then every time you're around them you feel like a bad person. It's because they've solidified that space for you. So when you're around that person, the universe wants you to respond to them in that way. Yeah, everything, all of that is. And all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes? And can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. But what's amazing is you can actually change the energy, because what you have to do is you have to change the solidified viewpoints around what that person thinks of you or what you think of that person. And when you change those viewpoints, you actually hold a different space for that person and the universe starts responding accordingly. I did a video the other day about relationship and about, how do you know if you found a relationship that truly works for you? Like if you've really truly found your soul's match, because I'm getting ready to do this relationship thing, right? So I'm talking about this, and what I think is interesting again is like, if you believe certain things about people, right? If you believe that relationship is difficult, relationship is hard, you can't have someone who's kind and caring to you. Everyone who comes is, disrespectful and mean and maybe abusive or whatever it is, because that's how every single relationship is shown up for you. And again, it's not like I feel like people are sitting around at home just thinking those things, but you are, right? Maybe you're feeling sad about it. Maybe you're feeling really upset about it. What's interesting to me was when I started changing my viewpoints around my husband changed. So in relationship, when you've only had relationship where people have shown up and been disrespectful, then the universe goes, okay, this person wants someone who is willing to be disrespectful. So then the universe aligns you like a magnet with someone who is willing to be disrespectful. Now that doesn't mean that that person is always going to be disrespectful, because essentially your connection points connect at, I believe people are disrespectful to me, and this person believes that they are just a disrespectful person. Those viewpoints align and you start actually living a life where those viewpoints are connected. Now, if you want to change that and the person is willing to change it as well, you can actually clear that and you can actually start functioning in a different place in relationship. Yeah. Everything, all of that is, and everywhere that doesn't feel possible and everywhere that feels confusing and everywhere you can't possibly understand that, everything, all of that is. All of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? Vaporize, 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 vaporize. The thing is the universe is responding to what you believe to be true. The universe truly does have your back. The universe is here to help you create the reality that you want to create for your life. If what is showing up for you right now is not something that you like, it's not a life that you want to live, you just have to start changing the energy around what you believe. And it's not hard. It's really not hard. I think we've been taught it's hard because people want to believe that change is hard, and again that's another viewpoint that the universe is demonstrating. So everywhere you believe that change is hard, oh, everything, all of that is, all of that, 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 all of that. Can we just choose to remove all of that from all of the universes, and can we just choose that now? And vaporize, 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 vaporize. Let's just add some ease here. Let's just receive. What can we receive right now to have ease and more possibility? And just receive. Receive, 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 receive. Awesome. I hope I explained this in a way that makes sense so you can really start to see that the universe truly does have your back. The universe is responding to what you believe is true. If you want change, if you want something different to show up, all you have to do is change the way that you respond to what's going on in your life and start actually projecting something different. And the universe will align with that new message, with that new energy. And if you need help, please go to my website, www.jamie-bates.com. Sign up for my free series. I have lots of different even programs where really you get into changing the energy space and consciousness of who you be, allowing the universe to show up differently for you. Because you are a powerful creator and the universe truly does have your back. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and I hope to connect to you in the future. You can also join me on my Facebook group at Expand Your Reality and Facebook, and you can always reach out to me through my website or email and let me know if you have questions or something you would like to share or something you would like me to talk about on a future radio show. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and I look forward to connecting in the future. Have a great day. Bye.
You have been listening to Expand Your Reality with your host, Jamie Bates. Thank you for listening.